All right. Welcome to the AI Revolution podcast. We're here with Nick. We're going to say Gwiazda, but it's Gwiazda. I think I said that right. Is that right, Nick?
Gwiazda, yeah, with a Z.
Gwiazda, which means star in Polish, we just learned. And we're very excited to be meeting with Nick today.
Oops.
Glad to be
Nick,
here.
give us a little background on you, your life, your path to AI. What are you up to? Just tell us about yourself.
So, all right, I am back in the hometown that I started in. There's so much cosmic linkage. It's interesting to me. So as far as I am aware, my grandfather is from New Brunswick. I live in New Britain. So the guy went from one NB to another one, pretty much. When I lived in New York, I lived on Nostrand and Fulton, and I would get on the train on Fulton Street and then get off in Manhattan on Fulton Street. A lot of these things happen to me all the time. I work in Windsor, Connecticut. I had a client in Windsor, California. These things happen to me all the time. So
That's wild.
yeah. The thing I was mentioning to Spencer is that I'm French Canadian, but I live in America. But my grandfather's from New Brunswick, so it's like all these tech bros from Canada. I was like, wait a minute, why do I feel like maybe I am Canadian tech bros? Why do I vibe with them so well? And I'm like, I guess a quarter gets you there. So
Your
I'm a
people.
finance. Very friendly. I try to be, accommodating. But I'm a finance and economics guy. Went to University of Connecticut last semester. Decided I wanted to be in business journalism. Went into business journalism. Got to New York. I was on Wall Street briefly as a stockbroker. Ended up in Bloomberg and on CNBC talking about the same stock brokerage that they kind of fired everybody. They got busted for a lot of stuff. After that, I went into financial media, was a financial video editor for IB Times, which became Newsweek. I then became the director of sales for Newsweek for 2 years at 24 because we bought it and we bought all their debt.
Wow.
From there, from there, I learned programmatic advertising. Then I basically got into supply chain tech sales, like channel tech sales, they called it. And now I am in aerospace supply chain.
Oh, cool.
So, yeah, and some of the more, I guess, less yawny things are I make the AI music. You guys have probably seen, me post videos and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I have the fitness blog, Fit Acceleration. It's on Substack. I have 3 Kindle books, 2 about artificial intelligence and 1 about fitness. I'm sorry, I keep triggering their balloons and all the graphics on the podcast screen thing that
It'll add a little flavor.
I can't get it to work when I want it to, but it just does it whenever I do some hand gesture. So works for me. And yeah, Spencer and I were talking a little bit earlier about the chat with RTX. So with that the other night, I was like, you know what? I have to. I got 2 terabytes on this server. I might as well. And you probably saw my video of me swearing about how long it took to download. I'm like, I had to go to the gym for an hour. Like this whole thing. Came home, it finally finished downloading after restarting the computer 17 times. And
Of course.
I don't know how, well, I got to look into it more, but I was able to edit their little personality TXT file and paste in Beth Bezos' blog into that one. So I was able to ask chat with RTX, what is effective acceleration? And it didn't go, I can't tell you that. No, it knew exactly because I gave it the instructions. So
Quickly for our viewers who are, less plugged in on this side of things, tech wise, what is effective acceleration, and what kind of led you that direction?
So it's effective acceleration is just the newest paradigm of technology. I look at it as just the beginning of the new economic cycle.
Mhm.
Coming from an old econ guy, I don't know if the stuff I learned years ago is out of date, but it just seems like the solution to the people that may be clawing to the last economic cycle. We still want this to happen. We still want that to happen. We
Yeah.
still want zero interest rates. But life has to go on regardless
Mhm.
of background noise. So that spoke to me. I found effective acceleration on Twitter kind of by accident. I was following Jan LeCun studying artificial intelligence at Lockheed Martin years ago, working nights. And I stumbled into Jan LeCun, then Andrew Ng, and then who got me into this? Yasin, the guy that made Kingboard.
Hey,
Yeah, we
episode
interviewed
1.
him. Yeah, I
Yeah.
was gonna say he was our first interview.
Really?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, you
Oh,
gotta check it out.
man, that's my guy.
He's the man.
If I could buy 2 subscriptions, I would. Maybe I will.
Like, how would you what would you, if you could put like a couple words to it, like an ideology, a methodology, what would you say this is?
Oh, what's EAC?
Yeah.
Yeah.
EAC. Well, it's a mantra. It's you know what? It's just something that, like, so for example, right? The past 2 days I haven't slept because my heater was broken. I don't know if you guys heard it tapping. It's tap tap tapping as we speak. And I was like, well, is it broken or is this an engineering problem? And then, like, my neighbor slash best friend slash landlord slash drinking buddy slash whatever you want to call it, he's like, yeah, you just need canned air. And we blew out the little I don't know, I guess the carburetor inside of the heater here, and it stayed on. I slept finally, like, we're so back. And that's what EAC is. It's like, we encounter problems, we solve them. We encounter problems, we solve them. That's all it is. It's effective. We accelerate effectively, not ineffectively.
So I've seen you offer to make training plans and fitness plans for people on Twitter. Do you use any AI tools in the process of making those plans, or is that mostly just your knowledge distilled for others?
Well, as I'd mentioned, AI is part of my last name. It's just backwards, just because I'm dyslexic. If it was GWAIZDA, we'd be in business, but here we are. No, this is all just culminated. I started lifting at 14, so it's interesting. I've been lifting for 21, not lifting for 14, so 60% lifting, 40% not, and that percentage continues to drift. And you know what? A good friend of mine in New York had me train him, and what he liked about working out with me was that I'm not condescending, because there was a time where I didn't know what I know now. And I don't want to do this thing where people are like, oh, you don't know that? Well, I'm not going to teach you. Why? So this was just, it's just a method for me to write new stuff, not just like, well, you need to eat these things or whatever. It's like, no, dude, here's how we're going to treat your body like an engine. And we're going to treat the meals and your stomach like the large language models that they are, and, load in the calories after you have put in the workout. I just think of it differently. I don't know. I kind of treat my body like more of a machine than like a squishy computer. And I just kind of thought about, how am I doing this? Because from September to now, I'm probably going to post a picture of the difference, but like my body fat percentage has gone down. I've quit drinking. I've started this collagen peptide thing where I take them right after lifting. So it's like, it's, again, hot wiring into your cells. I'm going to use this term way too much. I have never used this term before.
Sometimes you stumble across a good one and it's just,
That's right.
You got to use it.
Hang on to it.
Hot wiring your mitochondria, man. They are the powerhouse of the cell. So, I just never knew that anybody would be interested in the things that I'm interested in. And it turns out no, we're all like this, man. You see people on Twitter, posting their gym stuff, or I did that, or do cables instead of this, or the rubberized things for your biceps. You name it. So it's just, to me, I found this really inspiring sweet spot where I'm not condescending, and I believe in you, and I'm going to show you the results you can have. I don't, I like cringe every time I post another selfie, but it's like, there's progress being made here. Somebody will notice it, and then, like, basically there's more alpha in posting than not posting, but I'm always like, let me not be a freaking ham, because I saw an exchange the other day of somebody that lost weight and then somebody that attacked him, and it's like, how did this happen? Because
Why?
yeah, and I was like, when I post, like, for some reason, I don't get into these spats. How does this happen? So I don't know. I think that there's a way for everybody to get along and learn and improve, and have a good time, feel good. Feels good, man.
Well, Nick, I'm curious because you do have, you're a 60% lifelong lifter at this point. So if you had to pin down, like, how do you think AI is going to impact? Like Spencer asked you, like, do you use AI to come up with these plans? I know that is a big trend right now. Like, oh, ask AI, put in these things, and it'll come up with your plan, or just the fitness industry in general. Like, where do you see that going now with AI?
Well, I'm glad you asked that, because I never thought of how to apply it to, like, the chat RTX, but I suppose what I could do. So, Spencer, if you don't mind, would you mind just giving me a height and weight type of thing?
5'9", and I think I'm 160.
5'9", 160. All right, that's good. So we have different bodies. I'm about 185, 6'2" in the morning, 6'1" by the end of the night, and we all shrink during the day. So that's some good info that I would probably feed into this text file, right? Is like, okay, Spencer's 5'9", 160. So this would be the building build versus the weight loss build, if that's what you wanted. So this would be geared toward, okay, he chose build, so we're going to put the creatine, we're going to put the collagen, we're going to, suggest this. If he wants to lose weight, then we're going to suggest the cardio, heavier activity type of thing.
Mm-hmm.
So all of this data that Apple has collected over the years, into your health app, all of this HIPAA stuff, everything, what it has culminated is somebody wants to do something with it. And right now, I think that what you can do with generalized health data and just a very brief, like, vague idea, does this person want to lose weight or gain weight? I mean, that's probably the first question to ask. And then I think that there's so much information that once you have these profiles built for people, I think the AI will understand all the way down to the first principles of biology. What is good for this person? Does this person have some type of congenital malady in their genes or something like that? Do they have Lou Gehrig's disease, or do they have something with their kidney or whatever? Why would this workout not be good for them, or what could be better for this person versus somebody of this disposition? So it's a way to customize for literally every individual. I just wonder where the line is of too over personalized. It's like, I wouldn't tell you to go do 47 minutes of cardio, but the AI might. It's like, go run for 36 minutes and 47 seconds, and you're going to burn 412 calories, and this is your goal for the day. It's like, dude, just run an hour. Just get to 500.
Right.
Just little stuff. So I think that that's what the AI is going to do. Is it's going to fail to truncate. It's going to give you, like, overly specific stuff.
Yeah,
which would be good. I mean, you might learn something. I was telling Spencer too, I'm very interested in materials science. Well, we eat organic materials, for
Right.
sustenance, but they all have intent as well. You go to the gym, you eat a steak. Why? Because you went to the gym and you need like some bovine proteins in you. You need something
Yeah.
organic. You need to basically
Rebuild
hotwire
those.
those old
Yeah.
cells into
Mm-hmm.
yours. So yeah, it's like to me, hot wiring is boy math for in vitro, basically.
So on the topic of material science, you mentioned that you are in kind of the sales pipeline of things now. Have you seen any impacts of AI on material? First, like just material science in general, and then second, have you seen any impact yet on how you conduct your sales, how you set up your sales pipelines, etc.?
So I was in tech sales.
Okay, was all right.
Yes. No. Now I'm in aerospace supply chain.
That's what I meant. Yeah, sorry, supply chain.
Yes.
That apologies.
All good, man. They're all like kind of related. They all like leaned into each other.
Just kind of flowed through.
Yeah, Sheryl Sandberg, we leaned in. So here is the big issue: is right now the defense industry is not allowed to use artificial intelligence products. So I'll give you a generalized example. I was given a data project months ago, but I didn't have any tools at my disposal. I didn't want to break laws. I didn't want to break rules. So I didn't use Julius AI, or now I probably could have used, chat with RTX at this point. But because military data is treated like HIPAA,
Yeah.
it needs to
Okay.
be sent over secure file exchanges. There's drawings, there's proprietary information. I mean, you can even look at a screw and say, this needs to be destroyed so it doesn't get counterfeited. I mean, literally, the existence of materials is grounds for counterfeiting in general. So there is Dustin Giuliano who talks about secured AI, and it's getting to that juncture. But what we essentially need is programmers to build on-prem customized AI for really in-depth data analysis. Because, I mean, a lot of times if you work as a contractor, you're given enough technology to get the job done. But then if you're somebody like me who fancies themselves to be a data scientist, you're like, I need some more muscle here, dude. I can't have 30,000, rows and then 2 alphabets worth of columns and then try to parse this. It's
Right.
So we need a tech upgrade like nationwide. I mean, that's what really got me excited about effective acceleration. It's like, if you think that, we got people that are doing that. So
Yeah.
So I guess I need to start writing. I don't even know how to where I am in the answer to your question, but I need to start writing about these things, about the secure data, about material sciences. I mean, there's a lot of companies in the state that I live that got into trouble because they just didn't use the right alloys. And it's like, it's that simple. It's what would you say, like cupric oxide is not the same as cuprous or something like that. Like, there's certain alloys that are cupric, there's certain that are cuprous. And I think that they had hubris and they did not read the drawings. So
Yeah.
So little stuff like that can be cleaned up with application of technology.
Yeah.
Like that seems like such an obvious use case to me. I mean,
Right.
I'm not surprised that people haven't necessarily touched that space yet, because it seems like it's probably a potentially a difficult one to get into.
And just
but
very
it's
sensitive.
yeah, exactly. That's what I was going to say, is like raises all sorts of interesting data security questions.
Right, but they also teach us. I mean, in our training, they teach us what data is portable and what data is not really meaningful. Like, addresses of a supplier. Like, if you bought something from, I don't know, Hershey or some like generalized company, that's not proprietary information. It's like, oh, we get paint
Right.
from Home Depot. Oh, don't tell Russia.
Don't tell the
It's like,
Taliban.
right.
Keep that
So
quiet.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
And then
Don't tell them.
right. I'm sure that's hard to like again, this parsing of data. Like, and even with AI, I'm trying to envision like how you could help it see that like this is sensitive, this is not. It's
Well,
very interesting.
that's where the algebra comes into place. So I built them something brief before I got that I was laid off. But right before I was laid off, I took on this data project. And sorry, would you repeat the last part you were just kind of mentioning?
Just saying how helping AI know how to parse data, what is sensitive, what is not.
What?
Oh. So yeah, that's where algebra and calculus are going to come into play. So say you're trying to create variables to represent those suppliers, right? So ABC Co. could just be A, and then Sherwin-Williams is B, and Home Depot is C, or whatever.
Mhm.
And then you could easily turn these into variables. A is don't disseminate this, B is fine, and C is neutral or something like that. That's what I
Mhm.
had to do. I mean, I had to create this whole thing of, all right, where in the database is this? Is it A, B, or C? But then, I mean, if these machines are already doing that, you could see that
Right.
coming into trouble if somebody's already using some advanced calculus on one part, and it's like, well, this A is not the same as that A. So I don't know, but that can be visited too and examined.
Yeah. Yeah. That's interesting. Yeah, it'll be fascinating to see. I mean, AI's reach it's just so far reaching into all these little details and just how we're doing things. I'm curious, how are you like day to day, like for you, Nick, how are you using AI both, for fun, for productivity? I'm curious what like if you actually here, yeah, if you could have like best use cases for people with AI, what would you say? Just day to day life, not even like data scientists, but just day to day life.
Best usage cases. So right now, I use like a local instance. So like I'll do Stable Diffusion. I'll do Music Gen, something like that. So I guess the best like consumer AI usage is just kind of have your own GPU. Mine's only a 12. It's
Hmm.
not one of those beefed up 16 or 32s, 40s, 80s, whatever. It's not an A100. It's like an A12. And and that kind of enabled me to do things like I've written blog posts. I didn't need photos. I made my own.
Hmm.
I have put 9 songs on Spotify, all AI based. There is no licensing problems. The voice is mine. The noise is mine. It's not a remix, nothing.
Wow.
So all of these AI products are a way for you to make something completely individualized to yourself. And I think that more people should get interested in it just to enable themselves. I just remember my cousin Jessie. She just joined Twitter yesterday, so I'm gonna put her on as well. But she's another AI artist, and she has
Nice.
a liquid cooled laptop. Like,
A liquid cooled laptop.
Hardcore.
Oh my gosh.
makes me look like a kindergartner. So
That's wild.
yeah,
She's the real deal.
yeah. So she accelerates. Definitely.
That's right.
So you said was that your friend or your sister?
That was my cousin Jessie. So
Cousin, that's what it was. Sorry, my brain. You said the word, and my brain just kind of spaced. So you say that she's a AI artist now. Has she always been an AI focused artist, or did she kind of transition that way as the new AI tools come out? and was originally a traditional artist? That was a
So
weird way
you
to
know
ask the
what?
question, but
She's originally, she does crafts, arts and crafts, things like that. So she's seems to be like the natural evolution of an arts and crafts person who wants to be
Mm-hmm.
craftier.
yeah.
So I want to say that she's going to be getting into 3D printing with some of her stuff. I don't want
Wow.
to do that, but right now, she just uses like some of the Dolly or Mid Journey
Mhm.
products, and
Yeah.
we have kind of I've shown her Stable Diffusion and stuff like that, but still got to get that set up on the liquid cooled laptop. But yeah,
Right.
she's one of those pure artists. I've been trying to get her on Twitter for 6 months. I was like, dude, there's a whole community of AI art. The sky is the limit. Her thing
Mm-hmm.
is like fairies and fantasy and stuff like that. So
Yeah, totally.
you see a lot of that,
Give me 2
Yeah.
seconds. Sorry, my cat is in the sink.
the cat
Get out of there.
profile picture. I feel like
Yeah.
I feel like I met a celebrity.
I know,
The
right?
one and only.
Man.
There it is. Oh man. Nick, I am fascinated by this idea of your AI based music. What kind of can you run us through like high level process you go through to do that?
Oh man, I'll give you any kind of level you want. So I set out to break it, and I did.
Nice
Because
work.
it was released to only make 8 seconds of music, and I have hacked it to make 3 minutes.
Okay.
It's not as like ridiculous as it sounds, because it's a very simple It has prompts. The prompts are everything's in Python. So if you understand some of the intricacies of Python, you'll be fine with this. Even if not, dude, the fonts are in different colors. It's kind of all the answers are there for you, So what you do with it is you tell it, I don't want 8 seconds, I want 120. Then there's a resolution thing in there. It's 32,000 resolution for the the audio that it prints. I cranked that down to 28,000. So now you have a 2-minute song that stretches out to like 2.5 minutes. And that's like the whole thing going on in my head with materials, stretching data, stretching this resolution. I mean, it's all, it's all malleable putty in your hand, I have grown to view this whole process of making the song, right? So you need an A100 or at least a V100 at 16 gigs. And I don't know if anybody's ever looked at it this way, but you load all of the dependencies, you load all of the software in the moment, right, in your little virtual environment. That takes up space. That fills up, the little bottom 7, 8, sometimes 12 gigs. Now you have 24 gigs to play with. And you have to think in your head, like I'm doing a lot of mental math here. Sometimes it crashes because it's too much, but what's just around 38 gigs? How much space does that take materially? How can I make 3 songs that are 28 gigs when it usually takes 32? And guess what? Didn't I just say 32,000? So I guess saying things out loud sometimes helps you understand them better. So I guess I scaled it up by slowing it down. So you chopped and screwed it, and you made it, you cooked something a little different this time. You changed the recipe a little bit. Then there's little aspects where there's the small, medium, large, and melody. The melody is 1.5 billion parameters. So you don't really use that one very often because it likes to crash. On top of, I don't know if you guys have used Jupyter notebooks, but they'll just disconnect. I've been 99% to a song 100 times, and it's just like, nope, try again. Sit here for 12 more minutes and start everything again, Nick, because this is what the universe enjoys doing to you.
So with the prompting to create those songs, do you have like separate prompts like, hey, like this is, this prompt will generate like you said, like generate the melody, this prompt will generate, the bridge, the chorus, etc. Or is it the kind of thing where you can sort of sum it all up in one prompt and just let music gen do the composition?
You have to summarize it. So, I mean, my descriptions turn into this like run-on sentence of garble, because you can be specific. It really, the sky is the limit of what you can think to tell it. So when I first started doing it, it was like, make me a song that sounds like Lil Wayne with these drums, right? But now I'll type something in way more specific. I can even play you one of the songs. It makes really good reggaeton and soca. Soca is like a
Interesting
Caribbean type of vibe. So yeah, it's lost my train of thought.
That's really
again.
Interesting.
You'll have to send us one of the songs, and maybe we can layer it in this episode. People can get a little taste.
Anytime, man, dude. I'm sitting on 400 songs. So,
400.
Oh man.
Yeah. Maybe 100 of them are good, but but
you've made 400 of them.
Exactly.
Seriously.
Something's gotta stick, right?
Yeah.
So
and
what
do
you do?
Sorry, continue.
And I was just going to say, you can get very specific with the prompt. So in this case, I'll go, okay, write me a classic late 2000s reggaeton song, 199 BPM in A minor with drums, violin, piano, distinct notes, a bass melody in the style of whoever. So it could be Don Omar,
Wow.
It could be 50 Cent. So each one of these things, right? If you use Stable Diffusion, you can put brackets to say 20% draw me a fairy, 20% make it green, 20% make it playing a flute or, whatever going on here. So I just took that logic, again, set out to break it, and that was my father's favorite thing to say when I was a kid on the computer. He's breaking it again. So yeah, you just kind of mess around with it, and sometimes you get something good out of it.
It's very much a numbers game, which is something that I find interesting about AI. Is like there's so much quality encoded within latent space, but you have to know how to drive yourself there. And I think that's where a lot of the complaints about the quality of AI come from. Honestly, is people who haven't taken the time to understand how to drive the models and how to direct them where you want them to go. Because it's amazingly steerable when you kind of unlock the prompting skills.
Yeah, no, and it's, what, and I have such a love-hate relationship with Google Colab. I call it Colab or Collab or whatever, because dude, some of their generative features are really, really like slept on. So I stumbled upon temperature and top K in there because when I was messing around with the model, it was like, oh, did you mean to put temperature? And I'm like, well, now I do. So it's, you put in 0.99 and it gives you like the craziest possibility. Here, let me pull up this song called Resorts, the soca song.
Oh yes, please.
Oh yeah, it's coming through.
So you get like the little Caribbean vibe,
yeah.
So it's amazing to me that a song that I am not trying to make perfectly fits a different genre that I don't really listen to that much.
Yeah.
So it's like I set out to make reggae and reggaeton, and it made what is actually the trend in Caribbean music right now. So maybe I make some island, Nikki Island or something, make some type of soundtrack.
Yeah.
That's really interesting.
Yeah,
have you played with any of the video generation models yet? Because something that I'm really curious about artistically with AI is I think that there could be some really cool AI generated music videos. I feel like that.
Yeah.
I feel like that's a perfect fit for aesthetically and pragmatically a perfect fit for video generation. So I'm just curious if you've played with any of those yet.
And Kanye just made an AI generated video too.
Oh, he did.
I
Oh, I
believe
didn't know
so.
that.
Yeah.
I didn't see
I don't
that.
know what. Yeah, I don't know what model he used. I don't have access to Sora that I know of. I think I have an open AI account. I don't know. I try to build things instead of like use the already built one. But I do want to try, yeah, to basically train some type of video production.
Yeah.
Stable. The thing is, Stable Diffusion already has image to image, and it might have some type of video to video, where you can stitch a video into something else, but I'm not sure where we're at in terms of taking the image and making a video. But I haven't set that up yet. I got to talk to, like I said, my buddy in New York that got me into this stuff years ago.
Yeah. Well, Nick, I think you are very diverse. You do the fitness, you do the music, you got these jobs in the background. We always like to ask our guests on the show what they would, if they could give advice to people with this. I mean, obviously acceleration, right, is big with what you're doing, what you love, and that's a lot of what we're doing is trying to document this acceleration of this revolution across the world. What advice would you give to, the everyday person, my mom, my brother, who they're a little nervous about AI, not really sure. Maybe they've toyed with ChatGPT a little bit. Like what advice would you give them to adapt, to make the most of this?
You want to erase the fears of AI in almost no time flat. Show them broken AI. Show them something that you tried to build and you're like, well, this don't work. So if I can't get Siri to work, why would the robots come to kill me? You know. But in a generalized sense, I would just say to people, don't expect or ask permission to do something that you want to do, right? You don't need permission to go start working out today. You don't need permission to start a blog today. You don't need permission really to start singing today. All you need is to take that time. The best piece of advice I got was accidentally from a girl on a Bumble date, and she's a writer, and she's like, it's not going to feel fun. It's going to feel like work. And I was like, oh, she's right. And then I wrote that entire fitness book in a week because I was like, yes, it's going to suck, but not the whole time. And like, she was right. It's not embrace the suck. It's just do your thing, man. Just do it. So
just stop worrying, go ahead with your life anyways, essentially.
Look, if you have to tell somebody to stop worrying, then the troubles are not over. It's when you get to the point where things do not worry you, right?
Mm-hmm.
So 6 months ago, things worried me, and now they don't because my body's different. I've changed the things that I know through different reading and put the past where it belongs. It's the rearview mirror. Nobody drives like this, not for very long, in the rearview mirror.
Yeah.
So, I mean, yeah, I guess the best advice is just let the future happen, because we're already there.
That's good advice.
Yeah.
Stop trying to drive with your eyes in the rearview mirror. That's like, I think that sums up so much of what's going on with AI and all these changes. Is like a lot of people are looking back thinking, oh, it's different, it's changing, it's not what we expected, but of course. And the only way to adapt is like look forward, try to see where the road is going, and you'll get there,
Yeah, look, it's scary when, the same the same things aren't hitting the same, right? You know, the same stocks, like you guys know I'm a freak about Celsius Energy. Well, the stock hasn't done great this year. It's close to its all-time highs again, but it was a roller coaster just like everything else. At one point, I'm like, I don't know about this stuff. I didn't stop drinking it, clearly, because I talk them out. But so yeah, it's embracing change, embracing variance will help you seamlessly get from now into the future with as little pain as possible. I even heard a really good piece of advice on Arjun Kamani's podcast saying that the lack of knowing how is the source of many people's anxiety and pain. And it's so true. But some people are okay with not knowing things. And those people are secure and they're happy. But, you know, if you walk around worrying about, well, what don't I know? You'll never know what you don't know. How could you?
It's so true.
Just got to go out there.
The
and
idea
learn.
of like the idea of a black box, not knowing what's going on, can be very stressful. But I think what we've heard, you know, from you, from a lot of these other people we've interviewed is like, yeah, AI can seem, or whatever it is, can seem like a black box, but like open it up, like see what's in there, experiment, try to open that up and just get a view, and then it probably won't be so scary, you know, like just gotta get that experience.
Yeah, when you watch Mistral fail to download, or when you see the Transformer fail, you're like, we got plenty of work to do before we got to learn.
Yeah, right.
So, and even Jan LeCun today said, we don't know how to make this stuff yet. We don't know how to make robots that make other robots yet. So why are we pre-freaking out?
I love Jan LeCun for that reason. Like, he's just such a reasoned and
grounded. Yeah.
Grounded thinker. Like, he's a genius.
You always end up coming back to the French mathematicians, don't you?
I know. And it makes me angry because it's like, it's the French, you know? But gotta give credit where it's due.
I mean, you know, ugly faces out there. So, and then you guys are in Canada, killing it. So, the acceleration will be podcasted.
That's right. Awesome. Well, Nick, if people want to find you on Twitter or any other social media, any other outlets, what's the best way for people to follow you?
The best place is Twitter. That would be Nick Gwiazda with the hard G, because I'm a hard G, not G.
Awesome. Yeah, we'll make sure we'll link your Twitter and your Substack in the description of the podcast when we post it as well. Make sure that we give credit where it's due. Thank you so much for joining us. This was really, really nice. It was fun to talk to you and get your view on AI and where it's going, and just life in general, because that's exactly what we're trying to do. We're just trying to document life as it exists in the middle of the takeoff of AI.
The revolution.
It's a weird place to live. Let's be real. Like, it's getting weird out there.
Hey, we're about to go like this. So, hey.
Yeah. The hockey stick graph.
I told you, man, future's so bright, it made my glasses transition. So.
Transition lenses.
That's it, man. Gonna need them.
Awesome. Thanks, Nick.